Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this new session that is sponsored by Zatu. It will be addressing the benefits of the app-based TV experience for pay TV operators in Africa. I'm with Julian Hens, the head of sales for Zatu's TV platform worldwide, responsible for the B2B sales. Hi, Julian.
Hi, Saiva. Thanks for having me.
So before starting, I quickly remind everyone that you can type your questions for Julian in the chat box, and we'll do our best to answer them in the session. So Julian, just to start our discussion, and maybe for those in the audience that might not be too familiar with Zatu and with the services that are deployed, could you give us a broad overview of the company and in particular of the services that are rolled out across the world?
Yes, absolutely. Thanks. Zatu is a team of around 200 dedicated TV nuts. We're based in Berlin and Zurich. And basically, we are on a mission to free TV from broadcast restrictions. So basically, that means we want to enable operators to deploy TV services that cater to the modern needs of the consumer. So being available on all the devices the consumer uses, allowing for interactive features that consumers are getting used to by the big streaming platforms. And we want to bring that experience also to live TV and to video on demand services connected to live TV. Basically, what this means in working with the operators is that we take care of the entire end-to-end technology, and the operators take care of clearing great content rights and managing the relationship with their customers.
So concretely for pay TV operators that would want to move its services to streaming or that would want to add a streaming option to its package, how would it work working with you?
So basically we sit together, we define what is the go-to-market approach of this TV service. In some cases, we work with operators who already have TV and video services in the field. There we would see how can we bring these services to the next generation, what content is there, what content rights are there, so what are we allowed to do with the content, and what is the device strategy. And then we basically consult on, is it more of an OTT focused mobile first approach? Is it a more classic IPTV approach where you still work with an operator set-top box, or is it something in between this range? And we provide white label applications. We provide the full video backend, and that is all hosted and managed by us. So the operator doesn't deploy any specialized hardware or software, but it's all managed by Zatu. We connect to the operator's network. We deploy caching servers in the network, very similar to what other big streaming platforms do. And we basically define the product levels, what is a customer allowed to do with the content, with the products once they are rolled out.
Mm-hmm. So we could imagine that these deployments could be conducted internally by the operators as an in-house project announcement.
Yes.
Yeah, why does it make sense for an operator to work with a service provider instead of developing the innovations internally?
So one of our strong beliefs, and it's really also what we see in the market, is that delivering TV nowadays has become massively complex. So where a couple of years ago it was still enough to deliver a TV signal through a cable infrastructure or to one IPTV device, which was complex already, we are now talking a multitude of devices. That means a multitude of streaming formats to be supported, DRM systems to be supported. It's player codecs, like all this nitty-gritty stuff when you want to go on all these different devices. Once you have that up and running, the content providers come into play, and they ask you to execute on a very diverse set of rules. So you have to deal with blackouts. You have to deal with certain right sets that allow you to do recordings, but they only allow you to do it on certain content. They ask you to prevent you from skipping the ad break. They ask you to delete recordings after a certain time. And that is very fragmented between content providers. And dealing with all this complexity and keeping it up to date. So launching new app versions a couple of times a year, this can be overwhelming to many operators. The very big ones, the like really tier one telcos, they have huge teams to deal with that, and they will continue to do so. But we strongly believe that everybody below this tier one group is well advised to consider hosted and managed solutions going forward.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that mostly remains in the hands of the pay TV operator or the content provider is the content strategy, the channels that are offered or the deals that are implemented. But how far is that going? How far are you involved in content when working with operators? And what flexibility is proposed in terms of differentiation and content features?
So basically, we see ourselves as consultants and facilitators when it comes to the content strategy. So basically what Zattoo is also doing, and it's our roots are in pioneering OTT TV in Germany and Switzerland, where we still are the largest direct-to-consumer OTT TV service. So we have loads of experience in what content strategy can work with what audiences. In addition to that, we have experience working with more than 30 operators worldwide and seeing like what is a good content mix. And we have some good relationships with content providers. We have good relationships with the device OEMs and platforms. So basically we can act as a facilitator, but ultimately it's the operator's choice what is the right content strategy and where to put the focus.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of content features, the content that can be offered is live or on-demand content. It depends on the rules of the operator. Yeah.
So the platform is capable of most use cases. So in the live linear space, it's regular live TV, it's time-shifted TV, it's catch-up, it's network DVR. Network DVR can be facilitated in a master copy approach. It can be an individual copy approach. So it's really depending on what set of rights is the operator able to clear for their market. And in the VOD space, we support the AVOD, SVOD, TVOD business models, all included in our apps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you touched on it earlier. The devices are extremely important, and when distributing app TV services. So in Africa, and from your observation, what devices are crucial? What devices should be addressed in priority?
Mm-hmm. It's a very good question, and it's a very vague answer of it depends. So as in basically all markets, but I think in Africa the variance is even wider. There is, of course, a big need for mobile-first strategies, and there is lots of services where getting it right on the mobile device should be first priority. However, with increasing like broadband rollouts also happening in Africa. It can be also a service focusing more on an operator set-top box or on a bring your own device big screen strategy. So the key is to remain flexible and to have work with a platform that allows for all these use cases. So what we see in a market that we are deploying with at the moment in sub-Saharan Africa, the focus and let's say the revenue driver will be on the big screen in a fiber network service, but the funnel to drive people to these services will already happen in the mobile, and there will be a flexible solution allowing for like a low hurdle day pass and monthly pass usage on mobile that then drives people to the bigger screen and to the fiber services.
Mm-hmm. So smart TV, if we are also talking about smart TV, the importance of smart TVs have been growing in Western countries. What is the situation in Africa, and how do you see it evolving?
So smart TVs are a difficult field. So basically, to really offer a smart TV strategy, you have to be on a large number of platforms simultaneously. And the App Store platforms, in our experience, are not as transparent as for example, Android and Apple, where you have clear rules and you know what to do. But it's really a relationship you have to build with each App Store provider. It's evolving. There's better examples and worse examples, but basically that's the fragmented situation. In addition, you have within each provider different device generations, and especially on the lower end devices, there can be compatibility issues. So I think that's a situation that is currently faced. However, I think for a service that is rolled out, that is successful on a set of devices already, it can make a lot of sense to add a smart TV strategy and then decide on, and I would recommend at least going on LG, Samsung, and Android TV, and that covers a good basic set of devices already.
Mm-hmm. You also mentioned fiber and the importance that fiber could take in the next years. But today in Africa, it's not that easy to reach an affordable and widespread connection to broadband networks. So in the African context, how are your clients coping with the connectivity challenge?
So it is a challenge, of course, but I think an app-based approach can work to address this challenge. So on the technology level, what we do is we work, as I said before, we don't deploy any specialized hardware on the operator side, but we do deploy caching servers that are really standard servers that are pre-configured by us, and we can place them at strategic points within the operator's network in order to deliver this unicast traffic in an efficient way. The next technology point that is built into our system is adaptive bitrate streaming. So basically, we can, so the apps automatically fetch the bitrate that is ideal for them, but we can also restrict. So for example, we can say on a certain device or on a certain device in a certain network condition, we only deliver up to a certain bitrate. So that takes a bit of load off the backbone and ensures consistent quality. So basically, it can go down, and that's something that we can really control. But it can go down to an audio only, so you can listen to the soccer game, while the video is already off, but at least you hear it. So yeah, I think that's that can really help to still deliver an okay service in very bad network conditions.
Okay, that's clear. So the app-based services that we have been talking about would actually come as an alternative for an existing and at the moment dominant model, the distribution through set-top boxes hardware. So why does it make sense for operators to, or why would it make sense for operators to deploy services without set-top boxes?
Well, first of all, I don't think they have to get rid of the set-top boxes altogether. And we also offer models with set-top boxes. I believe the set-top box as such is also moving into an app-based direction. So if you look at an Android TV for operators, the user experience on such a device is very app-based already. So I think there's no either or, but it can work in combination. If an operator does decide to deploy a service without set-top boxes, it basically opens up a lot of opportunity in terms of giving devices to the customer that the customer actually wants and likes to use, and not putting a device into the customer's home that they only have to use for their service. Of course, this frees CapEx. So basically it helps get rid of this huge chunk of buying hundreds of thousands of boxes before even launching the service. And in our experience, it also leads to less support and happier customers. So happier customers is clear. I already mentioned people use the devices they know and came to love. Less support. Of course, you have to get the service right. Of course, quality has to be perfect. However, on a consumer device, something goes wrong, and the customer is used to troubleshoot themselves or go to the OEM's platform to find out. On a set-top box, it's always the operator that is called. It's always the operator that is responsible, even if the hardware or whatever is the problem. So I believe that this are the big advantages. And of course, it's future-proofness. So basically launching on OEM devices, on consumer devices, you can easily adapt your service to a new generation of devices and are not tied to one specific type of hardware.
Okay, so we are slowly reaching the end of our session. And if we look at market evolutions now, we mostly discussed the distribution of pay TV services, but I'm also thinking about the experience and the implication of that too as a direct-to-consumer content provider. How do you see the market evolving in the coming years in terms of content distribution on pay and also on demand services?
So I think what is already happening, and everybody is seeing it, we see a huge competition for eyeballs from the big streaming providers. And we believe that TV will remain relevant and TV will remain regional and local. And we believe that an operator has to have attractive services in order to compete. So basically people are used to using Netflix, Amazon, and the user experience these great services provide. So your service has to be on par with those services. It has to happen where these services happen, so on the app platforms. And basically then you're in a good position to compete. And what we also see is more convergence of the OTT and IPTV space. It will be one platform. So in the end, the consumer does not care what technology stack delivers their TV experience, as long as it's happening where where they want to see it.
So we reached the end of the panel. Thank you very much, Julian, for the insightful comments on the app-based TV services.
Thank you.
So if you have more questions for Julian, don't hesitate to reach out to him through the Swapcard app. And we now have 20 minutes break until the next session that will be dedicated to the dynamics of offering original local content on OTT platforms. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.